Hello, grads, and good morning. At least it's morning where I'm at here. And I want to present an idea that some of you have heard about, some of you actually seen and been coached on this. Others, this is completely new, or you might have heard a version of this out in the industry. This is something that I've been using for like more than 2 decades, probably invented it way back, probably about 25, 30 years ago when I asked myself, why am I not being able to create wealth, create value for others? And so I want to talk about the abundance quadrant and how you can live in this daily to generate value for others, for yourself, and that would also increase your wealth. I do talk about money in this one, but money is only one tent pole of the entire tent called wealth. So, so buckle up and take some notes and consider how you can increase your knowledge and activity about creating wealth for yourself, for others, and for your family. So first of all, this is context from scripture, and I'm going to really focus down about money and wealth conversations. Again, I look at wealth just at the very top bullet here. Wealth is like this huge tent, and it's held up by different activities and mindsets and practices. So I often recall, because I really work on my health quite a bit with dieting and intermittent fasting and so many other activities, that Benjamin Franklin, way back in the 18th century, said, "First wealth is health." And so it doesn't matter how much money you have if you feel horrible and you have a pain in your body and stuff. Does money really matter that much? So first wealth is health. What are some other aspects of wealth? Write it down if you are thinking about it right now. And encourage you. Writing makes it real. Writing puts it on paper so that you can think about it and work on it. How about connections, friendships, people you love, access to other organizations that you have as a coach or someone doing a 9 to 5, working your profession. You could be a therapist working and then coaching on the side, whatever it might be for you, looking at all these other access points. I mean, no person is an island, right? No man, no woman is an island. So to have other grads with you on the grad base who can go along with you, having a buddy to practice what I'm going to be talking about here, that's good news. That's wealth right there. Wealth and knowledge. A wealth just in resting, like a Sunday. God has designed a day for you. So think about wealth expanding, and that'll keep your mind from narrowing down to like, oh my gosh, I got to work on making money. I got to work, nobody makes money, by the way. And so you just expand that out into a greater realm of wealth. And looking at, money conversations, wealth conversations, here are some scriptures here that that you can look and read about. God doesn't desire for us to be poor and indigent. And he actually values our work of investing our talents there in Matthew 25. Jesus was very, very stern about like taking away the money from the servant. If you recall in scripture, just to paraphrase, it took away the money from the servant because they did not invest their talents. Now, I know they were talking about in that point, actually wealth that the servant went out and invested to double it, and to make a profit for the master. But that was a metaphor. But think about your own talents, right? The giftings that God has given you and what you've learned over your lifetime that and nobody else knows quite as well as you. It might be around helping women, or just helping people who need clarity, whatever it might be. I focus on leadership coaching because everyone is a leader. They should lead at least their own life. And a leader, to have something new in their life, you get to go beyond your comfort zone, what we focused on in the academy. And as a leader, you get to invite other people to go beyond their comfort zone so they can actually have what they desire. So that's a talent that I believe I have. I know it. I'm working it, and I've done it long before I was a coach. And so think about, what is your particular talent that you know so well that you could sniff the problem coming around the corner before it even comes to you, that other people have. And so, writing down your talents, how to leverage that so that it can be a great investment. God put you here on earth, and that you can bless other people and recompense revenue or wealth for yourself. Faithful with little, given much, like Luke 19. And in James, I think it's so interesting that the whole principle of knock, seek, and ask. When I used to teach negotiations, don't ask, don't get. We like distilled that down to a simple phrase: don't ask, don't get. Every request that you do not ask will be answered with a no. Think about that. Every request you do not ask will always be answered with a no. So don't ask, don't get. And I talked about this when we talked in the academy about coming to a close after the enrollment grid, right? And you get down to what's next. You discover what's important for them on the foundation of relationship, and then you invite the person you're talking to consider that, and you invite them into coaching if it's appropriate. And you get to make, you don't have to, but you get to make the final ask. Do you want to coach with me? I make that all the time, just very simple. The confused mind doesn't say yes. Would you like to take on the practice of blah, blah, blah? No. Do you want to coach with me? Simple. That's a final ask. And I've had many people say, well, let me consider it, or yes, let me figure it out. So if you don't ask it, people don't have a chance to say yes, especially if during the enrollment period, you made huge value for people. And I always say, when you're talking to someone, whether it's a couple minutes, at Starbucks, you're talking to the barista, or if you're in a 1 hour presentation with dozens of people, you get to have a what's next and ask them to work with you. So, knock, seek, and ask. And God loves a cheerful giver. Now, why do I have the cheerful giver in here? Because there's a valve in you that if you give much, it will return. God will always, you always be able to reap back what you invest. The classic story that you've heard maybe is like, if a farmer goes out and he thinks he's planting wheat, but up comes kumquats, up comes like lettuce or something. They go like, oh, I didn't know I was planting lettuce. So you got to be aware of what you're sowing into people. You're committed to cost during that time. And being a giver of others. You notice I didn't even say about money. I didn't mention anything about tithing. The greatest thing to give is your time, because that's absolutely irreplaceable. I've been dead broke twice in my life. I've been so broke they had to pipe in the light to me. And yet I was breathing. I had more time to do it again, go again, and learn this concept about wealth. So being a cheerful giver opens that valve in you to actually give of your time, or, if it's tithing, or giving of your wisdom, giving of your talents, and that it will come back to you, either come straight back, or it'll go all the way around. I talked to a gentleman the other day. 5 years I had not talked to him, and I just texted him. He said, yeah, let's talk. And I did the James 4. I made a request. He was sort of shocked because he wasn't expecting that, because he was listening for something else. But it was really great. I just gave to him, and I know they'll come back. So there's plenty of other scripture to support. So also the thing about is shifting into abundance mindset, or really the belief that you are deserving of a higher revenue goal. You don't have it because you don't believe it. Now, I know that sounds really, tough, but the idea is, like, when I was like in the ground broke, I'm going like, if I don't believe that I'm worthy to have, higher net worth and to bless people and to help people, then it'll never come back to me. And so it's a choice. You get to believe there's no missing potential in you. You have all the potential it takes to have what you desire that's out of arm's reach. But the thing about this is that you get to go beyond your comfort zone. So today I'm actually going beyond my comfort zone and contacting multiple people about coaching, about what I got planned in my particular coaching. Are you doing the same for your coaching, whatever it might be? So I say mindset, but it's also belief set, what you believe about yourself. Once you believe, then, and you know it and you experience, through your gut, it's like your subconscious mind starts aligning everything you're doing toward attaining that outcome. But if you don't believe it and you try to do it and then you get to the end, see no results. See, it just confirms that you didn't deserve it. Okay, let me turn that alarm off. That tells me it's time to go on the next step. Being clear, second bullet, being clear about creating value and abundance for your clients and for others. Just listening for what's possible in that moment. Of course, getting permission through coaching or an idea, hey, have you ever thought about this? And offering that to others. Always creating value, because people remember. They say, yeah, I talked to this person 10 years ago and they said this and it totally changed my life. No accident that God is bringing in front of you people that you can affect. And taking a stand to create value and abundance for yourself and for your family. And looking daily, what is wanted and needed, talking about the 5 W's, looking at the fourth one, what is wanted and needed to have your outcome for today, for the week, for the month, and focusing on productivity versus activity. So I want to show you this grid now that helps me and will help you to get clear on, what you're working through today, tomorrow, and the rest of the time that you're committed to coaching or in business. Being aware of what domain you're in, what is the playing field that you're working on at any given time. And I broke this down into 4 things because it's real easy. You could remember these on your hands. And see on the top left is increased revenue that goes into your bank account. But to have that happen, you need to, 1, have money now. Those are contracts. Those are, coaching clients right now, things that are coming in. I know when I was working it, Cameron was working, we had contracts that lasted a month, a couple of years. I had engagements that last multiple years or just for a month. I've had coaches people I've coached come back and say, hey, I need to get clear on this thing. Can we just coach for a month? Sure. Perfect. And so those are money now activity. Money tomorrow is about what productivity you're doing right now that is going to move you into money now. I'll talk about that more here in a second. Excuse me. Unfinished business. Do you have stacks of paper on your desk that have prospects, that have ideas that you can immediately get on the phone, moving over to money tomorrow and then having an engagement? So unfinished business. Or if you can't even get to your desk, like cleaning your desk so you can be more productive. So taking care of unfinished business, that's the 3rd priority. And number 4 is support, money and support. For instance, I need to put up another new form for people to sign up. So make it easy for people to say yes. So that's support, technical support in this case. And all of them move toward the money now conversation. So unfinished business, yes, is about taking care of toleration, maybe stuff you're procrastinating on, or saying like, I haven't figured out how to make time for this project. And then you figure out to make time for that project, which would be moving toward money now. Same thing with support. Like I just mentioned, I need a new form that I help people say yes to my coaching. So it all moves toward money now. Okay, so this even gets a little bit more technical with all the numbers, the circles, the arrows and stuff. So again, just focus on those four things: money now, money tomorrow, money in unfinished business, money and support. Now, I just wanted for you to get an idea of what's that I realize for myself, my business, and other businesses that I've helped. What is optimal in focusing your time on versus what people typically focus their time on. So at the bottom left, it's circled right here, 50%. That's in the money now. You know, people who are paying clients, you want to focus on them. So at least half of your time. You know, if you're working 40-hour a week, 20 hours of time. So if you have, you know, I've had up to, you know, 10 coaches per week, and 50% of my time, it's a 45-minute engagement, at least for another 45 minutes or hour to prep, and then at the back end, make notes, get clear, pray about them and stuff. So, you know, 50% of the time is on money now. 30% of the time here should be on money tomorrow. Who are you enrolling? Are you working your prospects so that when people are finished here, you have someone coming in? Ideally 30%. 10% on unfinished business. These are the buried golden nuggets that's in your mind, or, you know, on your computer, or physically in your office. You know, there's notes and stuff. Oh, this is unfinished. If I get this done, people will want to come. Money and support. Again, you know, this could be improving a single thing on your website, or maybe putting a video, 2-minute video about what you're great at on your LinkedIn profile. I get to do that here soon. So that's what's, you know, prominent in my mind. That's support. That supports people coming into the money tomorrow conversation with me, setting up an appointment, and then enrolling them into money now. So 10% of the time in there. So what it is you're backfilling into money tomorrow, so that goes into money now. But you see on the bottom right here is where I've noticed in coaching business and stuff that people are sitting in the less than 10% in the money tomorrow. They're spending 5%, like, because they don't have any contracts, less than 5% in that area. And you notice people like spend a lot of time tricking out their website, or tricking out this or that, or thinking about, you know, improving their web thing or Facebook thing. They spend a lot of time in support, money in support. They spend their time in activity versus productivity, which I post right here. So be aware. Where are you? How are you using your time? Because your time can never be replaced. You know, you can always have money again. You can always position your mind to have greater abundance. Like I said, I've been, not to impress you, but to impress upon you. I've been dead broke twice in my life, and I was totally ignorant of this, or how to, you know, be a master and money manager. And so, you know, because I spent a lot of time over in this area versus in this area. So let's focus on money now. And here's where you can actually get out a sheet of paper and think about write down, what is your money now activity? Coaching a client, you know, what's the name of your clients? What is the practice? And so what we focus on expands. So in the money now region, when you focus on, these are the people I'm working with right now, your brain starts to think about, oh, I haven't asked this question, or how to improve it. Again, it's about creating huge value for your clients in real time. You got paying clients who are going to give you eventually a testimony, if they haven't already, posted on LinkedIn or on your website. They're going to give you referrals. You know, if you like ask them, right? In James, don't ask, don't get. You ask for referrals. The gentleman I talked to a while back, who I hadn't talked to in 5 years, he was sort of, I asked him straight up, says, would you like to coach with me? And he says, well, let me think about that. So I know he's thinking about it. And in the interim, I asked him for referrals. Would you be willing to refer to me? And I made, So I made it clear for him what kind of people I'm looking at. So if you're asking for referrals, have a target market that you're describing it to your current clients or people who said they don't want to coach with you. You keep that what's next conversation in here. So write down who you're coaching here and some ideas about how to increase your money now from people you're working with right now, increasing your value. So you may want to pause right now, the recording, and then write that down. I guarantee you, if you start writing it down, you're going to get clear on how to expand your influence, expand the value you're generating for others. Writing it down makes it permanent. Writing it down takes it out of your head so that your brain can do what it does well, which is to work on it, to actually solve the problem. Next is money tomorrow. Very important. I've talked to so many people, hundreds, thousands. I haven't really counted yet in the past 20 years that I've coached. And it's always like they have no idea of what they're going to do to generate money now. So you're currently in quadrant number 2 and money tomorrow. What are some money tomorrow, value tomorrow conversations that you can have? List out. I mean, right now, list out. Here's an idea for you. List out 5 to 10 people that you can have a conversation with today that you can just touch bases with, say hi, and make a request for referrals, make a request that they would sign up to have a 20, 30-minute complimentary session with them. Ask them what's happening in their life. And be connected. So the very easy. I mean, you could just use your cell phone, and which I've done in the past and do it. Takes 1 minute to text somebody. Hey, hope you're having a great start of the new year. I have some openings in my coaching, and I'd like to know if you would like to have a conversation about that, or if you know anybody who would like to, who would be interested in coaching. Hope all is well. Talk to you soon. You can use take that and modify it. That's a script right there to put on your text. You create a value at the very beginning. Say, hope you're having a great start of the year. How many people have you received a text that they're wishing for you a great, incredible year? I haven't, but you send that out. You create value from already. Second value is you're connecting with them because you care enough for them. Talking about. I'd love to talk to you about your toughest problem and help you with it for this year. Everything that people truly desire is beyond their comfort zone. It's maybe out of arm's reach, right? And you as a coach get to close the gap, with world-class questions, with support, accountability. A lot of people get stumped because they're alone in the change. That's why I love leadership coaching, is because leaders sometimes feel very alone in the tough decisions. They can't go to the people that are working for them and say, hey, I am really having trouble with my confidence, but could you help me with it? But they would talk to a coach. So write down money tomorrow ideas. 5 people that you would contact today. It takes a whopping 10, 15 minutes to just get the momentum going. Part of it is creating momentum. It's like a bowling ball, getting it going. And once you get the bowling ball going, it keeps on going. It just takes a little bit of effort to keep that leveraged conversation going. Each one of you know anywhere from 100 to 1,000 people in Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, other things that you can put out there. So money tomorrow ideas, moving toward the money tomorrow. Money now. All right, you can pause it here if you want to add some ideas. Okay, my favorite section, unfinished business. What is money in unfinished business? Think about like tolerations, things that live rent-free in your head that like totally pisses you off, if I could say that. I just said it. It's like every time you look at it, it could be a messy desk. It could be calls that you haven't made that are living in, that you can move into the money tomorrow conversation. It could be texting people, like I just mentioned. Unfinished business, projects that started and then bam, life got in the way of your plans. Has that ever happened to you? Life gets in the way of your plans. It does to me. And then you put it on the side, and then one thing leads after another. You're putting out fires, and then all of a sudden that just sort of fades out. But it's still there, an idea, something you started, but you're like resisting it, or maybe you're just not sure how to deal with it. Eventually it becomes an annoyance, and it becomes a procrastination if you avoid it, and then opportunity passes. Opportunity always passes, and then it's too late, and then people then slide into regret. They get angry at themselves, or they pretend not to know, right? Like Susan Scott said in Fierce Conversation, pretending, living in fantasy and pretending not to know that stack of paper in the corner that has business potential. I don't want to deal with it. And you're just leaving money on the table. This is unfinished business, leaving money on the table. So here again, you can pause the recording, and money in unfinished business. Where's the opportunity to, one, go straight up into money now or into money tomorrow? And so either one of these activities is where you want to spend a good 80% of your time up in the money now, money tomorrow. So, and 10% of your time in unfinished business. So what is unfinished in your life, in your business, in your coaching, that if you engage it and move to change it, will move it toward money tomorrow, money now. So pause here if you want, and write down all the unfinished business. You can, you need to have a whole page to write down 25 tolerations or unfinished business. Here's a good thing too about unfinished business. When you take care of things like just clean off your desk, you have increased your productivity, right? You don't have to look all your papers and everything. And it saves you time. Again, time is more important than money, I will say, because if you have time, you can actually generate more abundance. You have that opportunity. So does it save you time? So money and unfinished business, money and support. So a lot of these things in support, here's how to actually create more money and support, is you want to move yourself to a highest best use of time. Your highest best use of time is enrolling people in money tomorrow, or actually coaching people. And so what can, your highest best use of time. So what can you delegate out for other people to do? I delegate out a lower cost item. If you can make, just for easy math, if you make, $100 or $500 an hour coaching, and you can delegate a $50 task or, a $25 task to somebody else, there's a net delta of profit for you. You make 100, you send out 25, you have a net of $75. So this is just delegation. That's, money in support. So what can you actually delegate out in support? Here's one thing idea that many people don't think about. What is it you could completely eliminate? Like, oh, why am I keep on doing this? Just eliminate it. Or maybe you can automate it, right? And so we know in technology now, there's so many different ways of automating. I'm putting a automation system of signing up for automation for coaching that I don't have to touch. People go in, they sign up, they go into my database right away, and then they they go to setting up appointment. Like I said, they're setting up appointment. All that's automated, or a payment system where people sign up for the program. I get paid. They go directly into a thank you notice, and then they get an email with a Facebook group and in the instructions, maybe some a pre-assessment. So all this can be automated. Money and support could be quite simply a database. Do you have a database of your clients, of your past clients, your current clients, and people you're prospecting? At least a spreadsheet so that you can take a look at everybody that you get to have a conversation with, that you have had a conversation with. I have found that many people don't have a database. What they have instead are sticky notes. They have sticky notes with little names on it and stuff, and they got sticky notes everywhere. as opposed to a database where you can go and see who you talked to last week, last month, or who you coached last year, that you can talk to them again. So putting a database together, your database is like your gold mine. So that could be money and support, spending 10% of your time putting a database together, because the brain can only consciously remember 7 to 9 things. Einstein knew this. That's why he wrote down everything, so his brain can work on solving the problem instead of trying to remember the 100 things that he thought about. Writing makes it real. Once you write it down, then you can work on it. So there's some ideas of money and support. You can pause right now and continue writing this down. I guarantee you, if you go back and you're writing down the little side list of money now, money tomorrow, money unfinished business, money support, this will give you a cachet of ideas of what to work on, because then you can actually work on what is the highest value idea, highest value use of my time. So here's some other ideas about abundant quadrants. Consider that for activity in each quadrant, shift toward the highest productivity probability money completion. So you're going to contact, say, you're in money tomorrow, right? So that's quadrant 2. You're in money tomorrow. Who can you call that you think might be the highest probability of saying yes to a discovery session and saying yes to coaching? I have a former client of mine. He's coached with me 3 different times over the space of 20 years, a realtor, high-end realtor. And he's probably in the top 100 in the country, realtor here on by the hill, as we call it. And he probably knows hundreds of them. I just had a breakfast with him a couple weeks ago. We had not seen each other for a couple years. And so we're going up in that idea. I'm going to ask him if he knows anybody that he could refer, or if he himself desires some coaching. I'm thinking for him, and think about each one of your prospects, what they might want, and you can check it out. I'm thinking for him, he actually told me on our last breakfast that he has 2.5 years left in his industry. So a succession plan is very important for him. I've worked with multiple leaders on succession planning. Think about what your prospects might want that you can deliver, that's highest probability money completion. Look at work through productivity, the legacy lens. Like I just talked about succession planning. I'm going to talk to him about legacy. What is your legacy? What is one needed for you to have all the revenue you desire in the next 20 years? And move toward your highest, best use of your time. And you will learn as you practice going through these four quadrants, working them, you will learn what's your highest, best use of time. And it'll be obvious, because if the number of clients go up, then you're using your time well. If you're putting in all this time and no one is saying yes to you, you probably want to stop knocking on that door and go to a different door and knock. Expecting something new, using the same old techniques that's not producing anything, that's a form of insanity, as you may have heard in the past. So keep shifting, keep moving forward. Here's an idea that really, I love when I learn from other coaches. So another world-class coach, I was on a seminar, just listening to stuff, and he said, focus on results from your goals. I use outcomes, but he said goals. And so you're always focusing on your outcome, if it's out for a year or 5 years. And it doesn't matter all the negative things that are happening in your life. You're moving, you're moving forward, failing quickly. If people say no, or something happens, you make a mistake, you keep going until you find that yes, until you find another yes. And moving forward, always adjusting who you're being in the moment and to what's wanted and needed. So, focusing on that outcome. Now, I haven't really shared, I'll probably do a video on this. I haven't really shared with all the group before, but it's called Living from the Future. Instead of looking at everything that's happening now, the circumstances, you live from the future that you told yourself would become for you, living that in the present moment. So in your present moment, you're living from the future. What would the person that I'm committed to become do right now? And then you do it. So more on that later. Eliminate unfinished business and tolerations to release potential. It's like your potential is getting blocked by all this stuff in your office and all this resistance that you have. So things to think about. So what's next? You always have a what's next conversation for you. Go back to this PowerPoint slide, print it out and post it in your office so that you can take a look at it and see where you're working at and remind yourself, this is something new. And you get to practice this if you choose. If you desire increased revenue, which I imagine just about everybody here would desire that. And not only for your coaching practice, but for your life personally. Are things in your life, your non-coaching, non-professional, are you actually moving it through this? You could use it with investments. You could use it with your household budget. I've used it everywhere and it works. The proven thing is that it works. And so print this out and you'll know, like, where are you on the playing field? I just call it the playing field. Are you money now? You're right there where you can score. Or if you're like on the other side of the field, okay, I need support from my wingman or another coach. Your wingman, wing gal can be another coach from the academy. So print this out. Okay, what's next? Practice every day this concept. Remember that the fallacy that practice makes perfect. That is not true. Practice creates a habit. Practice creates a habit. So are you practicing those habits that will draw excellence to you by creating excellence for other people? Practice it every day and work it. I love this great story. Michael Jordan, who you may have heard, one of probably the greatest basketball player ever, known for his dunks and his incredible layups. What did he practice every time? You would think all the fancy shots. No, he practiced layups. He practiced the fundamentals. The grid with the 4 areas, that's fundamentals. Practice every day this concept. And of course, like I mentioned, right, know what quadrant you're in at any given time. It's like, I remember Karen said this to me years ago when she had like 6 projects going on all on at the same time. And she goes, who am I? What am I? Where am I? Who am I? What am I? Where am I? Who am I being to create the value in what quadrant I am? So it was, I use that term all the time, but just being clear about, doing a heads up, finding home base, which is your vision, and walking that out. Work on revenue generating activity. Facebook is fun. If you want to find out what people ate the previous meal, that are you doing, in revenue generating activity every day? I gave you an idea. Call up 5 to 6 people today, not tomorrow, not next week, not next month. There are people out there that want to say yes to your business or want to say yes to your ministry, but they can't say yes if you don't ask them, if you don't find them. And finally, go with a buddy. You can ask your buddy from your academy or just put it out there in the academy. There's like 50 people out there, and ask for support. Who would like to practice this with me for the next month? And that you're accountable. Every week you have a call and stuff. You have support from your academy members. Certainly post it there. You can ask me questions. I'm here. Part of the coaching academy is that you have support, a backstop for everything you're doing out into ad infinite. It's a lifetime membership. So take advantage of that. Post any thoughts that you have about this, and I would be around for sure. And yeah, any questions, any thoughts, any add-ons that you would like, And eventually, just to let you know where this is going, this is context, biblical context for coaching, but eventually I'm going to put out another one for general public and expand those ideas. And I'll post it here in the future. So you have a great day. Create value. You can create a lot of value for other people and do what it takes to increase your revenue.